Welcome back. What's it like to fly on a 2 minutes flight? Your flight's over before you can order anything or before you can complain about anything.
So the shortest scheduled service between Westray and Papa Westray takes 2 minutes. And the reason the flight exists isn't to take passengers from Westray to Papa Westray or back. It's because people on Westray want to fly to Kirkwall, and folk in Papa Westray also want to fly to Kirkwall. So we fly it as a round trip like this, and it just happens that you get this very short flight in the middle as a piece of good fortune. For the short flight between Westray and Papa Westray, the paperwork actually takes as long as the flight itself.
Captain, how many people live in Papa Westray here?
About 55.
55 people live here.
Yeah.
And how many live in Westray?
In Westray about, I'd say it's more like 500.
So the average time of this flight takes about 2 minutes, and a one-way ticket costs £17. But sometimes the flight can go as quick as 53 seconds, depends on the wind direction. So in 2019, I made an attempt to fly on the world's shortest flight, but I actually failed. Here's why.
Because it was kind of flyable 5 minutes ago, it's not anymore.
We have been just called for boarding, but then we actually been told to hold back because the fog's rolling in really fast.
Yeah, it's come in pretty quick, just in the last 10 minutes or so.
So the situation is not good. That fog's getting heavier, denser. There might be a very big chance the flight might get cancelled.
We don't know, no.
Yeah, we'll see that, yeah. Well, it's certainly improving so far.
What's the latest situation, Captain?
It's okay. It's improving, so
Improving.
it's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go up and down all day, but hopefully it something stays enough.
All right, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Latest weather updates coming in is from Papa Westray. They can't even see Westray, that's 1.5 kilometers away. We need minimum 350 feet ceiling to be able to take off and maintain visual flight routes. So right now the fog is around 200 feet. So that's why we couldn't take off right now.
The Isles were foggy at that point, and then they became good, and we've become foggy. And we've kind of reached the point now where we're going to have to cancel the flight, I'm afraid. So it's not our lucky morning.
Such is life. Although I didn't manage to fly on the world's shortest flight, in consolation, I managed to fly on the world's second shortest flight that is also in the Orkney Islands between the island of Sandy to Stronsay with a distance of just 7 miles.
You're all strapped in at the back yet? Perfect. Okay Sam, so we're now about to set off from Sandy to Stronsay. It's going to take us about 3 or 4 minutes, making it quite possibly the world's second shortest scheduled airline service. Welcome to Stronsay. We'll be with you just one moment to get the doors for you.
So perhaps if you're not interested flying on a turboprop, you might be interested flying on a Boeing 777 widebody aircraft on the world's shortest jet flights. Air France operated widebody Boeing 777 between Kinshasa and Brazzaville with a flight distance of just 16 miles. This is the world's shortest jet route. This is also the world's shortest international flight with an average flight time of just 14 minutes. Now, if go to Congo is too adventurous for you, I can suggest you can take another very short flight in Japan. The flight lasts just 3 minutes. You can sample this flight between Minami Daito to Kita Daito in the Okinawa Islands of Japan. The flight is operated by Japan Air Connections Riku Air on the Dash A400. An average ticket costs about 8,000 yen, cover a distance about 8 miles in just 3 minutes. Another really short flight, but very cool and very beautiful flying experience is flying in French Polynesia between Tahiti, Papeete, and Moorea. Because there's an ocean separating the two islands, the distance between the two islands are just 11 miles, and there's a lot of flights taking tourists around. I actually flown with Air Tahiti in the paradise, and I want to share with you what's it like. Going on an inter-island milk run, just checking for the flights, and it says open sitting, free sitting on this inter-island flight in Tahiti. Hi, Yorana.
Hi, Yorana. Welcome on board.
Oh, so beautiful, fresh.
Fresh for the moment.
Yeah. Wow. God, these seats are so cute. They're like honeymoon couple seats. Two sit together. Never seen something like this, right? Yeah, so cute. Look at this. Pink one as well. Oh.
Yorana.
Bonjour mesdames, bonjour messieurs, le commandant de bord, monsieur Keith Cowen et l'ensemble de son équipage. Je vous souhaite la bienvenue à bord de cette ATR 72 de la compagnie à Tahiti.
In the event of evacuation, you must leave all your luggage on board.
Les ceintures se bouclent, s'ajustent et se débouclent, comme cela vous est présenté.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Bienvenue à bord. Le décollage dans quelques instants pour les îles sous le vent. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we should be taking off shortly for the Leeward Islands. Power lever set. Power set. Positive. Get up.
There are many advantages using a VPN. Personally, I use Surfshark VPN to bypass internet censorship, to find cheaper travel, and to secure and encrypt my data. Internet censorship is a huge pain when you travel to a country where your email and social media like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is all blocked, that you couldn't conduct your business or connect with your family and friends. So I use Surfshark VPN to connect to another country to bypass the restriction. And even better, with just one subscription of Surfshark VPN, I can access to multiple Netflix libraries. With the connection of Surfshark VPN, now I have possibilities to look for cheaper travel, to look for cheaper air tickets, cheaper hotel rooms, and cheaper rental car by connecting to different countries searching the fares. As a frequent traveler, I often use public Wi-Fi at the hotel or at the airport. They are not secure. When I want to send very sensitive information like banking information, I connect to Surfshark VPN to secure and encrypt my data. And now here's the best deal for our viewers today. Get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.com/Sam. Enter promo code SAM. You will not only get over 80% discount, but also 3 additional months of subscription. This video is sponsored by Surfshark. If all of these flights are too short for you, let's now look at some of the world's longest flight. In 2020, Air Tahiti Nui has operated the world's longest non-stop scheduled commercial flight, flying between the South Pacific of Papeete all the way to Paris in Europe, and covered a distance of almost 10,000 miles non-stop on their Boeing 787 Dreamliner. With a favorable tailwind and 4 men operating, the flight time didn't take that long. It was only 16 hours and 20 minutes. Usually, this flight will have stopped in Los Angeles, but due to the COVID border restrictions, Air Tahiti Nui made its flight non-stop. So currently at the moment, the world's longest flight is operated by Singapore Airlines between New York and Singapore. This flight started in 2004, was using a 4-engine Airbus 340-500, and it was discontinued for a while. Then they relaunched it in 2018 using an Airbus 350-900 ULR. So what's interesting about this flight is not only the aircraft has no economy class, but also the pilots can get to choose 3 distinct routing between New York and Singapore.
This is the world. Newark is here, Singapore is here. We are antipodes, so exactly on the other side. So if you take off from Newark, you can actually take the Atlantic route.
Atlantic. Ah.
You can take the Pacific route.
Yep.
Or the polar route. So you can take one of the 3. It depends on the time of the year, what the winds are doing, and then we select the most optimum route.
Welcome to the world's longest flight. Before the flight takes off, let's have a look what's inside the brand new Singapore Airlines A350-900 ultra long range. There are 67 business class seats in 1, 2 and 1 configuration. The business class span across 2/3 of the plane. Instead of economy, there are 94 premium economy class seats at the rear section. The seats to be in 40C, 41C and 42C. And also the other size 40H, 41H and 42H.
Departure.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. Off we go back to Singapore.
About 3 hours into the flight, we began seeing some beautiful iceberg and Arctic scenery below us at 39,000 feet.
Hi, my name is Ray Chowdhury. I'm the captain of this flight, SQ21, Newark to Singapore. Longest flight. Flight time today is 17 hours and 20 minutes. We're flying over the pole, the North Pole. We took off, climbed to 35,000 feet. Right now we are over Canada. We've just passed Iqaluit, and in the next 2 hours we'll go up to 87 degrees north. We'll have the North Pole right to the left of us, and then we will go over Siberia, one of the largest lakes in the world, Lake Baikal, and then Mongolia, China, onto Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, and then onto Singapore.
We're just about 30 minutes away from the North Pole.
We are approaching 87 north, which is almost as close to the North Pole as we will get. The actual North Pole, slightly to the left of the aircraft, will be passing this region, 87 north, to the point Ameri, which is in Siberia, Russian Siberia. The sun is setting on the left side of the aircraft. Just to let you know that we will be traversing this northernmost point for about 30 minutes starting now.
The Australian airline Qantas currently fly the world's second and third longest flight. The second longest flight is between Perth and London. The third longest flight now is between Melbourne and Dallas. But in 2025, they will also fly the world's longest flight, linking directly from Sydney to London, cover a distance of 10,573 miles. In 2019, I was very lucky. I was invited on board the Qantas Project Sunrise trial flight from London non-stop to Sydney.
Departing London today, 19 hours and 17 minutes. Darkness when we depart, bright sunshine in Sydney when we land.
And we will see double sunrise today.
We will see double sunrise today.
Fantastic, history making. High five, Captain.
High five.
So the time now is 6 a.m. So we pushed back a few minutes early. We're heading towards the end of runway 27 left for departure. Here we have just the takeoff, 19 hours 17 minutes to Australia non-stop. In 1919, 100 years ago, it used to take 28 days from UK to Australia. So today is 19 hours we'll get there. And today's flights will be overflying the following countries from England to Netherlands, Germany, Poland, Belarus, Russia, Kazakhstan, China, Philippines, Indonesia, and on to Australia.
So we have a trial on this flight for the Charles Perkins method of getting everyone onto the time zone in Sydney. So if you'd like to look out the window at the first sunrise, you'll be able to do that from the cabins further back.
This is the captain. My name is Helen Trennery. Also on the flight deck, First Officer Ryan Gill, Second Officer Chris Agnew, and Second Officer Tegan Gray. So in honour of your place in this epic adventure, we acknowledge the personnel who took part in the top secret double sunrise flights that Qantas conducted during World War II. These flights were under constant threat of attack from the Japanese and would fly for up to 32 hours non-stop. The crew and their passengers would see 2 sunrises on their flights, giving them the title of the double sunrise flights. Today, as we've departed London in the wee small hours of darkness, the first of our 2 sunrises is just about to occur on the horizon to our east now.
So you are here, on your toes, just gentle, okay? 7, 8, 9.
So here we've got the roasted chicken broth with shiitake mushrooms, enoki, sugar snaps and peas. This is a high protein meal with the high GI carbohydrate that's in the macaroni, and that's going to help to put everybody to sleep. Comfort food, encouraging the production of serotonin and melatonin.
Sydney is summertime.
We need to adjust our body clock to Sydney's time. So this is supper right now.
Okay, so this is the main course of the steak sandwich with slow roasted tomatoes, and this is to help support the sleep cycle for our passengers. And this is a milk-based dessert, so something that people traditionally give their kids when they put them off to sleep.
Who want to go to sleep, put down.
Yeah, thank you.
Now you're set for bed. Night, sleeping time. Time for us to turn the lights out.
At this point now, at the left side of the aircraft, you'll see your second sunrise. And now we are all members of the rare and special secret order of the Double Sunrise and trailblazers for Project Sunrise. A century ago, the Australian government challenged the world's leading aviators to fly from Great Britain to Australia in less than 30 days. Brothers Captain Ross Smith and Lieutenant Keith Smith and their mechanics Sergeants Wally Shears and Jim Bennett took off in their modified Vickers Vimy bomber from snow-covered Hounslow Aerodrome in West London on the morning of November 12, 1919. Some 135 hours of actual flying time later, on the 10th of December, the 4 touched down at Fanny Bay in the Northern Territory of Australia near Darwin and shared a prize of £10,000. Their flight is considered one of the world's great pioneering aviation feats, and today we replicate that challenge in a flying machine they could never have imagined, in just on 19 hours of flying time.
So last month, Qantas has released the seat cabin design of the upcoming A350-1000 that's going to do non-stop from Sydney to London and Sydney to New York. And both of these flights will run about 20 to 21 hours. They promise to have suites in first and business and more legroom in economy class. And with also a unique rest cabin for people to stretch their legs in between the flights. Now, I personally will be pretty dreaded to think about to go fly in economy to go on a 17, 19, 21 hours flight. And I don't think many people would love to do that unless the airline provide more incentives to make more legroom and look after the well-beings. So at the moment, the world's 4th longest flight is between New York and Auckland, New Zealand. And this route is operated by 2 airlines, with Air New Zealand and Qantas both using Boeing 787. So I was on board the inaugural Air New Zealand flight from New York to Auckland last year, but there was a bit of hiccup on this flight.
Pleasure to have you. Stephen, hey, fantastic. Just around the corner, sir. Go to sir, welcome.
Kia ora!
Kia ora!
So the captains are really busy preparing for this long haul flight. The first officer is really kind and come out and talk to us. So I just want to know, how long is our flight? What sort of flight level we're cruising? What's the route it's going to be like?
It's going to be a pretty long haul for everyone on board. As you can see here, we start off in New York. We go down over Houston Way, then down over the Gulf of Mexico, over the Mexican Plateau, and then down over the Pacific, past Tahiti and Rarotonga, and finally to our destination at Auckland. It's pretty clear most of the way. There is a little bit of weather just to the west of Mexico there. Yeah.
I heard the flight is weight restricted. There's lots of seats are blocked off, right?
We're restricted by the amount of fuel that we can actually get on board, the volume of fuel. So that then dictates the amount of weight we can carry, and we are restricting the flights to around about 208 passengers.
The interesting evolution of aviation is the bigger size 747, A380 are become obsolete. The medium size 787 has the sweet spot opening ultra long haul. But there is a balance, right? You are having a smaller airplane. How are you going to provide a comfort, especially for people in the economy class? That remains a question.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Welcome to Auckland. Our total time today was 17 hours and 11 minutes. So what happened in New York was there was a storm, as you said, just off in the Gulf of Mexico. So that took us a wee bit longer to organise with flight planning. It developed reasonably quickly, so we had to just change our route at the last minute. So that took a little bit of negotiating, and we also had to take some more fuel, so we went out at max fuel to give us a few more options once we got in the air as well.
Have you flown on a very, very short or very long flight? Share with me what's the shortest and longest flight you have flown in the comment. I love reading them. And thanks for watching today's video.